He's in the top 15 in the UFC. Will he be a world champion? Fucking I believe he's going to be a world champion. Irrespective whether it's next year, the year after that. Who cares?
Still, to this day, that's the hardest I've ever been hit in a fight. I was on minimum wage. I could barely afford to put fuel in my car, so I sold my things so I could pay for training and to put fuel in my car.
I'd never forget the day you told me that. You said, Greco, there's days where I've got to make a choice between petrol and food just to get to training. And I remember, I mean, I've made some big commitments in my life, but my jaw dropped and I thought, wow, you know, if anyone thought this kid hasn't got it, he's determined.
If you want to do it, you have to commit everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and you did.
It's too much of a fucked up sport to not do that.
And rightfully so. That's why we're sitting here today.
Exactly. You know? It all paid off.
Mate, you were doing some big trips. I remember even speaking to you. We were talking about it, and I asked you a few times, you know, why you're so tired. And, you know, and I tended to forget as a coach that, you know, you were travelling 2 hours up and 2 hours back. Yeah. Meanwhile, working during the day was a massive commitment, but for whatever it was worth.
8 to 10 hour days in Bendigo, drive straight to Melbourne, train for 2.5 hours, drive home every day, 5 days a week.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I don't miss doing that.
No, and I remember asking what you did for a living, and you were telling me you were working in virtually a refrigerator.
No, that was after.
It was after plumbing, wasn't it?
In Bendigo, I was I was plumbing, and then I was also a storeman after I left plumbing.
There you go.
So, big hours, and then big hours of training, and then big hours driving. Look at this kid. I didn't want to look at the camera. I didn't want to look at the crowd.
Yeah.
I just wanted to eat someone's soul.
I remember I was trying to get your attention walking out, but you were so determined to beeline straight to the cage.
I think the fact that Ben was so experienced sort of helped me, because I didn't give a fuck.
No.
I wasn't supposed to win this. I don't think they had odds on this fight, but I reckon I would have been like a 10 to 1 underdog. Because I tried so hard to get fights from when I was 18 to now, and no promoter would have me on for some reason. I think they just thought I was some country bumpkin kid that had no idea what he was thinking about doing. So that's I remember clear as day when I walked through those cage doors, I thought it's about time. This was one of the least nervous I've been for a fight, because I didn't care what happened. I was just fighting.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is where I see that if, like, my vision and what I want to do and what I've sacrificed so much for, this is where I see if it's going to go this way or that way.
Yeah.
That's all I could think. I was like, as I said before, all I could think was it's about time.
Yeah. So it was that, you know, you had everything to gain, nothing to lose.
Yeah. I remember, because I was prepping for Hex, and then I just came to the conclusion I wasn't going to fight on Hex, so I went out and had the biggest night on the Friday night, and on the Saturday night, and then come in on the Monday, and I was still like hungover as, and you look at me and you go, "Hey Jimmy, you want the good news?" And I knew that we got a fight, and then you're like, "Oh, it's in a week," and I'm just fucking sitting there, this hungover mess. I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's do it."
Oh yeah, but you know. Look, you take your hat off to you. I mean, this guy's 12-6 coming into this fight.
I think 4 of those losses were to UFC guys too.
Yeah, and he's gallant also as a boxer too, gallant boxer. So he knew how to.
Well, they went on to boxing afterwards. Won Australian titles, and Ben's a legit guy. Look at my mouth guard flies out. That's the hardest I have ever been hit in a fight.
It looked like you was for a split second you're out, but you weren't.
Nah, it fucking rocked me. But I just remember, all I remember thinking is, "Fuck you, prick! I'm going to get you back."
And it's gutsy effort coming off that, you know.
Yeah, that's still to this day, that's the hardest I've ever been hit in a fight.
You know, as young as you were, as inexperienced you were, I always knew you were talented to the extent where you progressively, step by step, just walk through this, even though it looks like a rush. But even here, you were stepping.
Yeah,
it was step by step.
As soon as I got a hold of someone, it was my world. I've always, obviously, I've been grappling since I was 8 years old. So, and then this far side armbar, boom.
There it goes.
Close side this thing. That was my move. That was my
go home move.
When I was a purple belt, I went through a stage where I won like 4 competitions in a row, every single match, armbar.
Armbar.
That was my move for years.
With all Jimmy's training, I mean, irrespective of who we fight, we've always fought guys that have got more experience than him. And we've adapted our training accordingly, you know. Going for a knee bar here. You remember that?
Yep. I was going to go to toe hold, but then I thought, nah, fuck it, I'll get back on top.
Yeah.
I could have got the heel hook there. I should have gone the heel hook. That would have looked sick.
So, going back to the experience stuff.
Jump on
yeah, you jumped on that. Go back to the experience stuff. We train accordingly. At high range with with high value techniques, because we are fighting guys that know the game better than what he did. But he just goes to show that he can match it with anyone. It didn't matter, and he did match it with all of them.
My mindset on the whole thing was always, I'm going to fight him eventually. Who fucking cares if you fight him early and lose to him?
Yeah.
You'll learn more from that than fighting a bunch of bums.
Yeah, loss is not always a loss either.
Getting false confidence from fighting a heap of bums and then facing the big show and not being ready for it. Fuck it, I'll fight the good guy. I'll fight the experienced guys right off the bat.
I remember saying to you right here, let it rain. Just off you go. Just let it rain.
Grab the fence, cheating bastard.
Let it go. There's only so many you can take, you know that.
Yeah, even he said afterwards, he goes, fuck, you hit hard.
Thank you. And good sportsmanship there too.
Yeah, you're a great bloke.
There's that mutual respect. You go in and punch each other's heads in, but there's always that mutual respect.
First time I ever jumped up in the cage. First time I've ever done that. This is when the whispers for the UFC started kicking off for me. But I knew that I wasn't going to get signed after this. I knew I wasn't going to get signed after my next one or the next one. But I started screaming for it.
Make some noise.
Because I was just like, well, fuck, if they know my name now.
Exactly.
It might take 1 or 2 fights, but they're going to get... Rather than wait until I'm ready and then start screaming for it, But I knew I wasn't ready for the UFC at this point in time. No, you fucking idiot. Cockhead.
He's a
fucking
cockhead.
Ballarat.
Do
I look like I'm from Ballarat?
They're better looking than Bendy, eh?
Fucking, they've got less teeth. This has got to be demoralising too. You're coming in to bash this young kid up.
And he's just wearing you out. He's just wearing you down. That's what he's doing.
And I was dominating the striking. The little striking exchange was I was using my power to dominate the striking exchange where you're supposed to be good, and then I take you down into my world.
I don't think he expected you to come out kicking either.
Nah, yeah, that was something I hadn't shown. Big Oa here, yeah.
Yeah, you already cut him open.
Blood.
Yeah, you already cut him open here. There's one.
Rang his
You
bell.
rocked him already
Bang.
too, and he's gone.
That's the thing. When you're grappling with someone and you both stand back up, the guy that takes the first forward step is normally going to land the better shots, and the guys that break the grapple and try and sit back and catch their breath, they're wasting an opportunity. I think you want to kiss me.
What? You take off your hat to ready.
Mate,
you try to come out fighting, and same with you. I say to you all the time, and you've been phenomenal at it. You've got almighty respect for your opponents. It's business. You go in there to win. But at the end of the day, you're both businessmen, and may the best man win. And you're being trumps in all of them. So
nothing pisses me off more than when someone knocks someone out and they start screaming around the cage and throwing. I always just want to make sure my opponent's okay. I don't care if there was bad blood or whatever before the fight. It takes 2 to tango, and I don't get to do this if my opponent doesn't make that walk. And I think a little bit of that is because I've had so many fights pull out and so many cowards pull out on me, where I just respect the person for actually making the walk.
Yeah, and a lot of it too. A lot of the guys that can talk the talk sometimes can't walk the walk. So I think sometimes less said, more done, so to speak. And you've proven that you're not one who's a loudmouth. You know what's right, what's wrong. Yeah,
little bit of banter and whatever.
That's fine.
I'm all for the respectful side
and there's
of
that
martial
respect
art.
again. You have a look at that. You do this in every single fight. So hats off to you, and it goes a long way.
Proud of
body transition in this one.
Yeah,
amazing.
This is when I first started working with Michelle Reeves. First started getting a dietitian's help.
All right, you had to flex the bicep. Put the fucking things down.
Look at it.
Please put the fucking things down.
But I still used to walk around under 100 kilos here. Can't imagine walking around under 100 kilos these days. Jesus.
You're distancing and everything. You're throwing. You're shooting straight off your hands. You're very composed.
Go that armbar, but my recovery is so much better. The first fight I just jumped on it like there was nothing else, and then here we go. This is it.
Yeah. And you've had answers for everything. Here it is now. You sink it a little
So
bit
much
deeper.
tighter.
Yeah.
I heard you and Stewie just screaming at me to keep holding.
Keep just hold, yeah. Just sit, just hold. He's going to go out. You tap. There it is there.
Yeah, that's how you win your first regional title in fashion.
Yeah.
That was so clinical.
Hey, I want to ask a question. Who would like to see the Jim Crute in the UFC? Secondly, I'd like to say thank you to Ben Kelleher. 2 weeks' notice, we went through the rankings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not one of you pussies said yes. Every single light heavyweight. So, Ben's the man. Ben Kelleher, the real MVP.
But your transition throughout that whole fight was just everything was controlled. Everything.
I've never watched it directly after the first fight. And that's pretty cool to see the difference between the guy that fought the same guy in the first fight to the second fight.
So you can see where the improvements are. The improvements stood with you rather than with him.
Yeah.
You know, the same guy came out, whereas you didn't.
Yeah.
You know.
And yeah, it's amazing what 5 fights can do.
Yeah, of course.
Rolling lightly, snap my ribs.
That's right.
Snap my rib.
That was with
Juke. Big Jukey, snap my rib.
That was at the end of training.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Yeah, just one light roll.
Fucking the end of training. You asked me, you go, yeah, can I do a couple of rounds with Duke, just rolling? I go, oh, all right. Boom. All I hear is, oh!
Yeah, that was very... Well, I popped it first, and then I kept rolling because I'm a dumb fucking idiot, and then pushed on it and just snap. And
between your ribs being done and between cutting your fucking eye before nearly every fight.
Yeah. Then I had, I don't know what the doctor called it, but some sort of infection going through my system that, so after this fight I was so sick. I think probably something to do with the rib, but I was so sick that I was in and out of hospital for a week after the fight, and I was lighter a week after the fight than when I weighed in because I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything.
You'd be huge.
Maybe partly from fucking how hard Stephen Warby hit, but maybe a little bit concussed. But
He hits like a fucking Mack truck.
yeah, he's super hard puncher.
Well, his record stands, 8 out of 9 wins have been by KO, so it just tells you.
This was like
was a
big step up.
Huge.
Was probably a good thing that we didn't fight him.
Really,
we were going to fight him when I was 3-0, but he was injured. He had an injury that was lingering for a little bit, so I was supposed to fight him earlier in my career. That's who we asked for, and I look back, I'm like, yeah, I probably would have won, but fuck.
Probably a blessing in disguise too.
It would have been a lot worse than this fight was a war. I was doing the Habib before Habib was.
Yeah. See, Connor and Habib have got nothing on Jimmy Crute. Fucking nothing.
Regional St. Jimmy Crute.
Hasbullah, you're next.
Hasbullah. You're next, bro. Be careful, I'll smash you. I just went to fucking town with elbows.
He's got a thick
1,
head.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably. It's so tough.
Yeah. Given that I'll be honest, quietly confidently say, if you didn't have these types of fights with these calibre of boys, you wouldn't be sitting here today.
When he got up here, I just went, oh, I'm really tired. I went, oh, I'm really tired.
Yeah, nice one too.
Flying knee.
Flying knee.
My striking had improved a lot by
Actually,
now.
you know what? If you had to ask me without seeing it again, I would have said otherwise, but no.
Yeah.
It's actually quite good.
But I just got really... I remember here, I just went, oh, I'm really, really tired. Yeah, my striking was actually pretty decent back then. I was better than I thought it would be.
I reckon you're better than what you are now, Jim.
This is the hardest fight of my career, hands down, because of the injury, because of everything else. I think this is the most fucking tired and disgusting I've felt after a fight. He hit me, every body shot he hit me with, hit me in the rib that was broken. Yeah. I didn't think it hurt, and then he hit me in the rib, and I went, oh, yep, that hurts. I've got 2 moments in my career that I've overcome something external, like injury-wise, really bad. And this was...
Do you know what your mouth felt like after this? Your mouth was all busted up on the inside.
Yeah. Pole bakes.
No bakes.
Yeah, this is definitely like one of my proudest performances in my whole career, UFC or otherwise.
Oh. Mate, you talk about testing times. This is definitely one of them.
Stephen Warby's a bad motherfucker. Just want to kiss you there, Greg.
You kept saying to me, he's tough. I said, mate, that's what makes you fucking better. It's exactly what makes you better.
I took his shots. I took his He's just like, fuck off, Jimmy. This is where like people don't understand that I come from a grappling background. The people, because I get all the knockouts now, everyone forgets about my grappling. But man, that's what used to win me my fights. I think the biggest improvements in my striking is definitely the defense. Yeah, I've always had good offense. I always had really good offense, but my defense was lacking a lot back here. Because I've always had a good chin. I just don't give a fuck if I get hit, which is not always the smartest move.
No, it's not, and you know, and I can tell you from experience that chin does slightly wear as time goes on. So you're just going to be working smarter, not harder.
Exactly, and if you can preserve it by having good defense, it'll last
exactly,
longer.
Exactly. But you know what? We're 7 fights into it, going from where you started to where you are. It hasn't been a big jump. It's been incremental, which has been phenomenal. You know, and it's just one constant pace that you push through with your techniques is great. There's no sudden jumps.
Yeah, I think there was a big jump from Turner to Eland. That was probably the biggest jump. But yeah, apart from that, it was pretty steady, wasn't it?
But you'll find that the more experienced the guys are, your techniques are actually cleaner.
Yeah.
You know? And they've got to be cleaner.
You watch here, and I just wear one.
Oh, nice head kick. Yeah, it's a beautiful head kick.
There's no head movement. My hands, yeah.
Jimmy's moving in, 1 minute left. It's got him mounted right in front of us. Here it is. 1 minute left. Jim Crute's gonna
He's pouring blood. He's just pissing blood out of his head.
I'm cut here. He's cut here and here. By the end of the fight, he's cut here, here, and here, and I'm cut here, 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 and here. It's a bloodbath, this fight.
Hex was probably the #1 rated promotion going around Australia.
Back then,
especially. And all the calibre fighters. If you're going to fight any calibre fighters, I'll be on the Hex. So we wanted to fight the best because we knew we were going to walk into the best with the UFC. So it was a great preparation for it. So
the thing with Hex is, we told them that we don't want bunnies, we don't want easy fights.
Actually, it's funny. Yeah, you're 100% right. I did forget that. I remember talking to the promoter. And you were actually sitting with me, and one of the first things we said, he said it himself. He goes, I don't want any fucking bumps. If you're going to give me bumps, I don't want to fight, full stop. He wanted to fight all the top-rated guys. So he's a kid, fucking no experience, saying I want to take on the world. There's not many that do that, because a lot of careers, fighters' careers have been padded with, let's fight him, and perhaps, no, we'll fight him down the track. This fucking kid wanted to fight everyone. In fact, I had to pull him back at some stage. I had to say, mate, well, I don't know. And he's going to put him on. Let's go. So, he got the best out by doing that. He got the best out of me, and I certainly got the best out of him. When I look back at this, Jimmy, I often say, 6, 7 years ago when Stewie come to see me and Richard Norton come to see me, that's how all this evolved, you and I. But it was one of those things I did say to him, I'll have a look at the kid, but give me a couple of weeks. And I remember seeing him for those first couple of weeks. I thought, wow, this kid has got natural ability, and he's just had this
it wasn't
thing about...
It wasn't talent that...
No, it wasn't. But, it was hunger, and you can really see it in someone when someone's hungry to come to training, to perform, to try and perform for you, right? And this kid had it, and like I said, it wasn't the talent that he had perfect technique. No, it was all over the place. His balance was off and everything else. But shit. Someone who says, stuff it, I'm going to travel 2 hours to go there, that's because that's what I want to do. He had set his mind, because I asked him the question early in the piece, did I not? I said, what do you want to do with yourself, son? And the first thing he said, I want to be a UFC fighter. And I can't tell you the amount of people that have told me that. But I can't tell you the amount of people, I can tell you the amount of people that aren't willing to do the fucking hard yards. It takes a lot of commitment. Away from your family and friends, away from life in general.
It's a pretty lonely road.
It's a fucking dark, lonely road.
You get people that, like yourself, you've been through it, I can relate to you with that, but in terms of like close circle of friends and stuff, there's very few people that'll put up with it.
No.
How
It's yeah.
how inconsistent you are with catching up, or how you can't do this because training, or how you can't do that, and they think, oh, was training more important? And yeah, your training has to be more important than your social life.
Yeah,
So
your
you have to have
priorities,
really
yeah,
understanding
exactly.
friends.
Yeah, and you know what, he had to set his priorities, and like I said initially at the start, he was working, you know, trying to work and do everything else. Travel 2 hours to and fro from training, absolutely fucked by the end of it, and then have to drive home. You know, the biggest fear I used to say to him was him falling asleep behind the wheel.
Yeah, remember how exhausted I would be when I leave training?
That was my biggest fear. I said, mate, every time you get home, just fuck, can you please text me?
Yeah,
Like my own son.
If not, I'd get a phone call.
Yeah, I'd ring him. Are you home yet? You know?
Yeah.
And
People don't look at that, but I know what it's like to commit to someone. And when I commit to someone, I'll go at all costs, and he did exactly the same. He was the younger version of so-called me, so to speak, but he did it in his own way, and he just showed me that, he put his balls on the table for me. He goes, I'll do whatever it takes.
Speaking of putting balls on the table, we haven't even talked about it. You're having a heart attack right now.
Yes, I am. I was having a heart attack
He's-
already before going out, but that's, what can I say?
Greco's having a heart attack right now.
Yeah, literally having a heart attack.
Literally gets rushed in ambulance afterwards. And he stayed through this whole 5-round fight. So it's about putting your balls on the line.
One of the things that I couldn't do, and
Boom.
oh, nice knee. One of the things I couldn't do, and I promised Jimmy throughout, from when we first started, is when we go to war together. I stay beside you. I'm not behind you. I'm beside you. And I proved to him that I do it. And he didn't know I was having a heart attack, and I wouldn't tell him either until after the fight. He came to the hospital. I remember the next day.
Yeah, I didn't know till the next
Yeah,
day.
he didn't know till the next day. I didn't want him to know. I just wanted to enjoy his time. And I sort of kept it to myself. And when they told him he came, the kid was crying in the hospital, you know. And I told him I'll be all right, but I had a 99% blockage. Yeah.
Pretty much came and seen you every day.
Yeah. So, you know, to me, I think Jimmy's shown me some big heart, and I've had to show him too to set an example. And I'm not saying, you know, that I put on the heart attack to, you know, to set that as an example. No, but I stayed there because deep down inside I knew I could. Even though doctors were telling me I'm a fucking idiot for staying there, but I had a job to do with him, and I couldn't let this guy go. Simple, you know. And he made me proud. He made himself proud. He made his father. He made his family. He made his fans proud. And these are the sort of fights that make him. And you know what? He wouldn't be who he is today, sitting here, if he didn't go through what he went through. You know, and the adversities and the way he overcome them. And you know, surely. These were hard. He might have some harder times coming up now, but at least he knows how to deal with stuff.
That's why you never know what's around the corner.
You
so
never
you just
know.
got to take it.
No?
Take it on the chin. Yeah.
You know, my belief in the kid is never ending. This kid evolves momentarily and can evolve in front of me. Sometimes one of the hardest things about individuals is, are they coachable or not? He's definitely one who's been coachable, makes my life a little bit easier. And I don't care what people say, we fucking clash. We clash at the best of times. We swear at each other, we do fucking shit. You know, I want him to do something, he wants to do something else, but we'll find that fucking happy medium.
But you know, our arguments sound like we fucking hate each other. But we're not actually that mad at each other. We're just trying to get to the bottom of.
Yeah. And sometimes I might have a way of saying something, I'm not getting the point across as I should, you know, and he interprets it as something else. But at the end of the day, you know what? This is fucking business. I don't live my life through his eyes. I refuse to do that. I think trainers are fucking idiots for doing that. You know, he's living his life through his own eyes, and I'll guide him as much as I can, right to the end. And at the end of the day, mate, he puts his hand. The accolades are his, not mine. You know, because he puts in the hard. People go, oh yeah, but you're the coach. It doesn't matter. I direct it. He's still got to put in the fucking hard work. He's in the top 15 in the UFC. Will he be a world champion? Fucking I believe he's going to be a world champion, irrespective whether it's next year, the year after that. Who cares? You know, irrespective, because he doesn't stop learning. You've got to be on my end to understand the incremental things that he does that makes a big difference. It's not the big stuff; it's the small stuff, and people don't see that. So yeah, do I believe he's going to make it? Not only will he make it in the UFC, he'll just make it in life in general, because this will set him up for life after fighting.
I don't cope well hearing nice things about myself. I don't like.
No, but you're a cunt. I've always said you're a cunt.
I fucking hate it. Oh, like coming back and watching these and watching like the fights that I went through. I know that Jamahal would not have handled that pressure as well.
Yeah, not because you're sitting here, but the test you've been put through over the last 7 fights you know, and now and plus the UFC fights leading into Jamahal. Yeah, you're 100% right, and we're saying if he underestimates you by even a smidgen, he's going to regret it.
Because they underestimate the cardio, they underestimate the ability to push a pace for well, these were 5 rounds, and the mental toughness is what's going to break him.
Yeah, and the proof's going to be in the pudding, and I know you got I know you've got what it takes to put him away, and probably put him away early. But like I said, I'm going to leave that in your capable hands.
Well, yeah, that's the idea. You put him away early, but if you're going to drag him through 3 rounds of hell, that's what you've got to do.
And you're pretty good at dragging them through hell. So yeah.